Okay, everybody, hello, how's it going? Today I have decided to do a little tutorial for the beginning of panel 1 in Finola, which is my the pattern that is currently being used as the make-along pattern, the crochet make-along pattern in the wool-in make-along. And I've had a few people ask me how to start their first panel, so I pretty much have myself at the start here. I've got my slip knot and I've made 2 chains as per the pattern. Now the pattern asks you to do a foundation double crochet into the second chain from the hook and then to do 4 more thereafter. So I'm just going to demonstrate this here now. This foundation technique is used for the entirety of the first panel, by the way, but then every other panel thereafter is built on top of the previous panel, so there's no need to do foundation because you have the fabric there to use as your base. But here we're making our bases and our stitches as we go along. I see it almost like building a bridge brick by brick and getting to step out onto the next brick as you're building your bridge across. So here we have at the moment, we're standing on the bank and we're about to do our bridge across the river. So I have my 2 chains and I'm going to focus on the chain farthest from the hook, or the first chain I made here. And I'm going to start by doing a normal double crochet in here. I'm going to pop my hook in. Oh, by the way, when I say double, I mean the UK double. For my American people, this is a single crochet I'm talking about here at the moment. So that's hook into your chain farthest from the hook, yarn over, draw a loop through, if it'll go. This is very tight yarn. Okay, so we have our 2 here. Now if I was to finish my double crochet off as normal, I would yarn over and draw through both of those loops, giving me just 1 on my hook. But what I need to do here is make a little platform using this loop for our very next double crochet along. So what I do is I interrupt my double crochet at the base by adding 1 chain stitch. Just like that. And that will be the base for our next stitch. You'll see it in a second here. Then I finish my double crochet off like so. So now here is the chain at the base of our very loose, granted, double crochet there. That's what happens when you crochet low. Okay, so I've got my base here for my next stitch. So I pop into this loop here and I make the first of my 4 extra double crochet foundation stitches. So yarn over, draw through. If I was to finish my double, I'd yarn over through 2, but I need to interrupt with 1 chain stitch. That's your base there. And finish off your double crochet. So that's 2, and you can see the 2 V's on top there, so you know what I'm doing. That's our base made by the chain we interrupted with. So I pop in there, yarn over, draw through 1, make my chain, and finish my double like that. So now we have our 3 done. If you're ever wondering where the loop at the base of your work is, by the way, I find the best thing is to see your fabric as a piece of a big rectangle, pinch and then draw out towards the corner. It's always the last loop you catch. No matter how you go, it'll always be the most cornery loop that you come to. It's this guy here. And I mean, you know, you draw your eye back and it does tend to help as well if you can see the repeating pattern of yarn over and under, yarn over and under, yarn over and under as you go. But if you just can't find it at all, it might be hiding, it might be a bit tight. So just pinch and draw out at an angle and you'll catch it. It'll be the last thing you snag on. So we'll do number 4 here, like so. And I make my chain interruption. And then I finish off my double crochet like so. Again, drawing my finger out. It's going to be the very last loop I snag on, this guy here. And I have my 5th one here that I'm doing. So yarn over through that. Yarn over, I make my chain and I finish my stitch. And that is the very beginning of Finola there. It's 5 foundation double crochets in place. Now Finola is actually made as a wedge, and this is the sharper point of it, and the entire wedge is going to continue out as we go. So we're going to get a little bit taller here. I'm going to continue working here a tiny bit. So to create a slightly taller stitch, we're going to be into our linked stitches now. So I'm going to add a yarn over as per the pattern. It says to yarn over, and then it tells you to do a linked or 5 linked 1-upple trebles. So I'm going to do the first. Remember, if you have the pattern in front of you, this will all start to make a bit more sense. So I've got my yarn over and I do the first of my 5 linked 1-upple trebles. So that's hook in, yarn over, draw through, interrupt with a chain at the base, and then I finish off, yarn over through 2 and yarn over through 2. Those sharp-eyed amongst you will realise that's actually just an average regular treble crochet in the UK and a double crochet in the US. But its purpose is very different, and it makes sense to call it something different because everything else thereafter is going to be in a similar vein. So that is my first linked one line, so linked one upple treble stitch. Now I'm going to take the line, the yarn over basically in that, I'm going to take that and I'm going to make my second one using it. So it's hook in, yarn over, draw through into the base, yarn over through one at the base for my next stitch, and then carry on up. So yarn over through two and yarn over through two, and that gives us our second linked one upple treble. Again, snagging the edge will show you where your next stitch is going to go into, and you've got one line down the center denoting the one in the one upple treble. So I carry on and do a second one of those into the line, into the base, interrupt with a chain at the base, and then carry on up the stitch. So yarn over through two, yarn over through two, like that. And you can see that line actually is quite clear down the center of your work. So you can see you've got 1, 2, 3 lines there so far. So we're going to do number 4 here. Hop in there. Our foundation loop at the base and carry back up the stitch. That's number 4, like that. And number 5 is precisely the same, but I'll do that and I'll show you how to progress from there. So there you go, pop in, do your chain at the base and carry back on up the stitch, yarn over through two, yarn over through two. Now the pattern then tells you to do a yarn over and then tells you to do a yarn over and then to do 5 linked 2 upple trebles. So what we're doing with our yarn over is adding an extra line to our fabric essentially. So we yarn over and we carry on down our previous stitch as is presented to us. So we pick up that loop and we go into our base like that, yarn over through one, grab a bit more yarn, there we go. So we do our base chain for the very next stitch along and yarn over through 2 the whole way back up again. No matter how many times it takes, it's always just yarn over through 2. That's your second one and there's your third one. Now, this gives us a very slightly different terrain. And you see, it is actually getting slightly thicker as we go along, which is exactly what we're looking for. So we have the line from our linked 1 upple trebles here, but we also have a yarn over that we added at the start of this stitch. And we're going to use that to create a second line off our first lot. So we slide in through just that and we pick up a loop in there. And then we use the original line that we had already into your base. Now we've got more loops going on. You can see that line has started to appear, which is very cool indeed. So we add our foundation chain at the base there and then carry on back up, yarn over through 2. You'll be doing this in your sleep, ladies and gentlemen, like that. And you can see you've gotten over to your 2 lines. So you've got yourself a foundation linked 2 upple treble there in place. And that is basically the very, very start of Finola there. Now, the very first segment of Finola carries on, and there's obviously charts, which I'll get to at some stage later. But the notion here is that this is our first wedge. We get to our second one. Don't have to create these base loops, these base chains here at all, because we have these V's to build our second wedge on top of. So when you get to the second one, you dispense with the yarn over through 1, and instead you work through these as you would with a normal piece of short hook Tunisian. So there we go, guys. I hope you do give that a go. And if you haven't got your copy of Finola yet, remember it's going to be at a discount for the entirety of the Make Along at Wool In. Look on Ravelry for Wool In Make Along Group, I believe is what it's called, if I can remember. And the code for getting a discount on Finola is WoolIn 2019. That's WOOLLINN. And then numbers 2019. So go grab your copy and come join us. The Make Along will be starting, depending on when I upload this, either tomorrow or the next day. But one way or another, I hope to see you there and I hope you give this a go. Thanks a million for watching, everybody. Bye now. Bye-bye.